show?
It's Tony Sexton for the 19th of May 2016 from Clover Meets an Electrician.
Closed on 78. It was 12 years back from that. 65, is it?
When you started? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 60. Yeah. I started work there in 65.
Yeah.
And Jack Adams was an electrician there. His son was around town, I was down to take him down. I went up in there and I started work, and I was only to be there about a month to do a job. They were doing a new sausage house plant. So we were building this new sausage house plant, and I was to go up to do all the electrics and that. But as I worked out then, I kept working there all the time, working away. Jack, God love him, he got sick. He got cancer and he died. So then I had to stay on. So I was the electrician.
Yeah.
And his son was an apprentice to me. And
what's his son's name, Tony?
Jack, Daisy Adams.
Daisy, okay.
Daisy was his. And Daisy got married to a girl.
Yeah.
There as well, on the Max.
The girl was working there, is it?
She worked, his wife worked in Daisy then stayed for 4 or 5 years and then he left. Oh, he had to go. And then they brought in different apprentices. Then I stayed. I was the number one then when Jack was gone. But it had been, there were parts of it very old and antiquated. It was just all pulley driven. But all the new killing lines all went in. It was all modernised.
Yeah. When did the new killing lines go in?
The new killing lines were partly in about 1964.
Okay.
But they only started to get them all working automatically.
Okay.
That was big.
It was a big
because
job.
it was all on chain driven. And any gap that might appear, it would hold up the whole thing. It was just like a chain link. If something broke here in the middle, nothing would pass down, you could have 50 fellas. And my greatest memory of all those Eurovisions, there might be a funny thing about the Eurovision, than what club mates. They were a real happy bunch of guys. But when the Eurovision would have been on Saturday night, for some reason you come in on Monday morning and they would have the winner's song off by heart. And they would sing, they'd start down, someone would start, and maybe 40 fellas up along, and they all singing it one after the other, and they tipping knives. So when they were doing the job, they just tipped the knife, then they make it good. But
amazing.
it was a pity there was no soundtrack ever done of it.
Yeah.
Because when I see the Eurovisions, I can
You
see
just remember
all these walking in the rain, that fella, what was his name?
Oh, I don't know his name.
But anyway, that song I remember well, and I can remember about 7 or 8 Eurovisions anyway.
Yeah.
And it was all of that. The butchers would have, what I was amazed with, how they would have all the words off. All these 20 individuals. Now I can't probably say it like that, would have been poorly educated. How they would have. Nobody wrote it down and handed it to them.
And where did they learn it?
Where they get it. But they had a great musical thing. And they were great into sport and all that, you know.
Tony, that's mad. That's a great story about the Eurovision.
Oh yeah, they're very, and if you ask any of those lads, they'd worked on that killing line, they used to call it, the killing line. That was where the pigs would start off up there, pig killed. And they'd moved on along, and all those Eurovisions, I was to be mystified. You could go up on a Monday morning, if you wanted to get the words off, and you'd have it.
Because I've asked a few of them where they got the songs from, and no one really kind of remembers. So it's good to know the Eurovision was obviously one.
But there's Butch Moore, that was the first one. Whatever year he won that, Butch Moore singing in the rain was one of the, it sticks out in my mind. But Butch, he didn't win it, no, he might have came about third, but he was the Irish entry. Yeah. Whoever the Irish entry was, it wouldn't have been the winning song they'd be singing, but whoever was from Ireland, that's the song that I'll be singing.
Very good.
So it was amazing. And then there was, they were very talented crowd. They were lovely singers.
Yeah.
They had beautiful singers that know. Even that, and they're great sports people. Tony Shepherd worked in the office, he used to play rugby with Shannon. He won a senior cup medal. Those Ryans across the road from where me did. Eamon Ryan, played with Munster, like that.
They're all big into sports and soccer.
And soccer, they had some great Pike Rovers stars in soccer.
I might close that blind.
Do you?
Don't mind. I'm blinded, I'm so sorry.
Do you want to sit here as well? Look,
That's all right.
here, sit in that chair there.
Tony, do you want to see where you were living?
Where I was living in 5 Cherry Place, just across from City Hall.
And there were people next to you. That was just a lovely story. What
Oh
you
yeah,
said. Let's see up here beside you. When you were
I
saying,
lived in 5. At that time, it was Crosby Row. I don't know, they call it Cherry Place, but it was Crosby Row to me.
Row,
That's-
yeah.
I lived in 5 Crosby Row. Jimmy Gannan, that old Mr. McGann. Jimmy McGann, what was his father's name? Mr. Gannan worked at Club Meets, and he lived in number 3. And Eamon Ryan, which had the distinction of playing with Munster and Shannon for years, he lived in number 2.
okay,
And he was a tremendous player.
and you were
Like to get on the Munster team at that time,
it was a big
when
deal.
you weren't from Cork or one of the big clubs, just playing with Shannon, which was a small club, it was a great achievement. You had to be good. He hadn't it,
Yeah.
the right, and he played for years.
And did he play from Clover, we'll say? Or what was it? Was it separate from the bacon factory?
He was separate, but he actually worked in the bacon factory, is what he says.
Yeah.
They had they were very sporty crowd, all the people who worked in Clover,
Yeah.
and probably in all the bacon factories. Like Tony Shepherd played with Shannon, he worked in
Yeah.
Clover Mills, so I think he's Alzheimer's now, he's down in Waterford. He left Clover when Clover closed in Limerick. He took a position with the factory in Waterford, which was the headquarters, Clover in Waterford. Because when I joined, there was a Waterford manager. Did anyone mention him? Robinson
No,
was the
Robinson.
general manager. He was the general manager.
Okay. What was the
Sean
name of
Robinson.
Sean Robinson. What was the name of the manager for Limerick?
That was him.
That was the
The
manager.
manager, when I joined, in 65, as I'm trying to tell you. In
Yeah.
65, Sean Robinson was the manager.
Right.
And he had replaced an O'Connor, which was the manager.
Leo, was it?
Leo O'Connor. He had replaced him.
Okay.
And that Robinson, his brother Larry was an engineer. If you just wanted to try and get some word
Yeah.
or somebody might think of,
Yeah.
Larry Robinson was the chief engineer,
Okay.
also from Waterford. He was Sean's brother.
Okay. And how did you get the job, Tony? Did you come from school into the job, or?
No, I was an apprentice electrician, I was finished.
Okay.
And my uncle, Michael Sexton, was the secretary of the Electrical Trades Union.
Okay.
And Jack Adams went up. Dave Walsh, if you want to mention him, he came from Broadstreet. Dave left and went to Canada.
Right.
So they were short electrician in Clover Meads. So I joined Clover Meads to make up the numbers. Well, I had to go up to do this contract anyway. Dave used to be on all this. There was a maintenance electrician, and then there were other ones for doing contract work, which was outside.
Write this down. So there was the maintenance is the main person, was it?
Yeah,
Right.
would be down in the engine room in the boiler house and keeping most of the plant running from down there, the refrigeration plant.
Right. Okay.
And the other electrician would go around and do breakdowns and mostly contract work.
Contract work and breakdowns. Right.
Yeah. So Dave Walsh left and went to Canada. I often
Yeah.
meet him since now. He's back. Dave left and went to Canada, and then Michael Sexton, which worked in Matheson's, he was an electrician up there.
Okay.
Jack Adams approached him and told him that they needed an electrician. And like the butchers, they kept it very close, the electricians. And like the butchers had a saying. They used to always on about it. A butcher could become a pope, but a pope couldn't become a pope butcher because he didn't have the birthright. They used to always do that, you know.
He's slagging over.
Slagging over. But the electricians covered the same, and they weren't going to have. But so my uncle anyway, he must have told my father there was a job going up there. If he wanted to go up, there's a couple of weeks work up, a couple of months work up there, whatever.
Okay.
So that's how I joined, and then Jack got sick, and then Jack died. And then I moved into that position. And then we brought in another one,
Okay.
which was, who came in then? Oh, Tony Mac. Tony Mac came in then. Tony Mac from Garrigone. That's his name now.
Okay, that's fine.
But that's all. The other part was that they were a very sporting crowd. Like, they had a lot of high achievers. Mick Jones now was another one up there. He was a mechanic.
Okay.
Michael Jones from Newport. He had distinction. He won in All Ireland with Tip in 1971. Mick Jones, he was
That's
a
gas.
mechanic. He married the one out the opposite, Teresa Finney.
Very good. Did many people married from the office?
They did. Jimmy
Yeah.
Hopfler, he was an apprentice fitter. And I met him at that fella's funeral. I might meet Jimmy.
Okay.
And he married another girl out the office up there.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it?
I went with one or two girls out there, but I never married anyone.
Yeah.
I married a girl from Donegal.
Did you? Okay.
She was only back from America, but
Yeah.
and we're still together after 50 years nearly.
That's very good. Oh my
Do you know?
god. Yeah. Oh my god, unreal. What were the hours like, Tony?
Oh, the hours were extremely strict.
Okay.
You had everybody had to clock in at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You could only about the timekeeping was as strict as could be.
Okay.
And if you came after 8:05, the clock was locked, you couldn't clock in. So you went home.
Oh, only lost out on your day's pay.
You're,
And what time did you finish up then?
it was a 48-hour week, it was 9 to...
48-hour week.
It was a 48-hour week you had to work. You had to work 5.5 days a week,
Okay.
and then it gradually came down to 5 days after years. Like.
Days a week. Okay.
And there was a... what else could I say about that place?
What was the health and safety like?
Oh, non-existent.
I love it.
Non-existent now. There was a nurse there,
One nurse.
one nurse, and you're talking about a place where they had knives sharper than razor blades.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
But they say that is why Limerick has such a high rate of stabbings, going back like, is because of the amount of knives that these fellas could use. And I think there's another thing about butchers cannot be on a jury if it's a murder with a knife.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because of the blood, yeah. They've no fear. There's something that you might try and delve into. Butchers could not be held. I don't know. Just put a question mark on it.
Okay.
It was because there's something because of the skill in knives and blood. There's something.
It means nothing to me. Just.
It wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah,
So they couldn't be horrified with.
Okay. I haven't heard anyone mention that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
But,
interesting.
That's not good.
And what did you wear, Tony?
I just wore an overall.
Just overalls. And were they
Overalls.
given to you by the factory?
No.
No.
Oh, all those butchers would have, they used to have clogs and they'd have footwear and their coats and everything else. Later years we got overalls, but when I first joined I had to have my own overalls.
Okay. And your own
And
tools.
we used to have to wear, no, we didn't have to wear netting ahead, but all the other people used to have to wear nets over their hair about it.
Yeah.
But they only kind of came afterwards.
Yeah. Health and safety after.
Well, it wasn't health and safety, it
No.
was more vets.
Okay.
It wasn't health and safety. They weren't wearing these hats for their safety at all. These were only paper, made of paper.
Yeah.
These was just that they wouldn't contaminate
hygiene?
food, hygiene.
Yeah, hygiene,
thing.
okay.
And it was haphazard hygiene, if you want to say, you know.
Yeah.
Like a paper hat and up your right.
Wouldn't even.
Oh, that's all. It was just that it looked well if someone
If someone came in
the
and saw.
vets. But there was a huge veterinary crowd then.
And what were you doing then, Tony? Like if the machine broke down, you'd be in doing that, or what
Yeah.
else did you do? Or can you describe what would happen in a situation there?
Oh, it just depended on the morning. So if the power went off, we had our own generator and if there was an ESP
Did
supply.
you?
Oh, it was the generator, all their own power. You'd have to run the generator. There was a cost. They used to run the generator in the winter months, what they call a peak period, from 5 until 7. And it was never big enough for to run the whole factory. It was big enough by a stove meats crew and it all got more modernised. It was way too small.
Okay.
They had a beef line then, you see.
That came in
Here's the
later,
kill.
wasn't it? The beef line.
Yeah, but that was still going, and that was all part of this. When I went in, they were upgrading the whole thing. When Clover took over from Shaw's, there was another story about Shaw's. There was a blacksmith up there, Johnny Rennick.
Yeah.
Johnny Reynolds, he lived straight across the road from me. But this Captain Eric Shaw, this was just before I came there now. When Clover took over.
Was it 50? 48, 50?
Must have been around that time. So I went about 10 years after. But before that, this Shaw's owned it.
Yeah.
And there was a son there, one of the Shaw sons. He was known as Captain Eric Shaw.
Eric, yeah.
He used to walk around with the boots on, his leather boots. And there was a story told. Johnny Rennick, you know, he was the captain that morning, so it's sort of this way, you know. Came in this day anyway, and he used to come down the road and walk around the workshop. And your man was over with his anvil and he was walloping the steel. And the sweat was coming out of him, you know.
Yeah.
And he used to wear a cap, he took up the cap, you know. And old Captain Eric says to him, "How's it going?" John, how's it going, John? "Oh, grandson, not you, the fucking job," he said to him. But he was making,
What was he making?
he was making a hoop for a barrel, and making some hoop, he was making a piece of iron
Yeah.
to put on the car. He was a blacksmith.
Okay.
He used to make everything himself. There was a cooper up there making barrels.
Okay.
The cooper was Frank McMahon was
Very
his
good,
name.
isn't it?
Frank McMahon
Someone
was a
else
cooper. I
mentioned
wonder
Frank.
is he dead or alive, Frank was a cooper.
Yeah.
And there was a huge maintenance there. There was 38 people in maintenance.
It's very self-sufficient though, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, nothing went out like.
Yeah.
With 2 carpenters.
Yeah.
Do you know what we had up there? A maintenance plasterer.
Had you?
A maintenance plasterer, Jackie Flynn, was
What?
a maintenance plasterer.
There was loads of in maintenance. up there.
38.
Oh wait, 38 maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
And what do you need a plaster for?
God only knows. When they go knocking, I would have brought up that Charlie Wilson and you'd get him to knock a hole. We might be going running new cables.
Yeah.
Or the fitters might be going on new pipes. And we'd all kind of agree what way we'd go running these things. And we'd get a hole knocked out. But we mightn't be doing this job for maybe a month.
Yeah.
When, whatever, you're going to plan it way ahead, what you're going to do. And you say to one of the lads, we're going running cables there, you're going running pipes, whatever. We keep on. So you go up and you'd mark the hole and you'd have Charlie Wilson come in on overtime because you couldn't put dust flying everywhere. And you got this hole knocked out.
Sweet.
And as sure as God, you'd come back a month. Maybe you wouldn't be up there again for about a month.
Be plastered, would it?
I finished plastered. The painting.
So who else was there? You had the maintenance, you had the contract work, you had electricians. Who else was there?
Well, we had 2 carpenters. One of them nearly full-time putting handles and brushes
Okay.
and fixing tables.
Yeah.
You see, there was a lot of timber tables. Then they changed over to stainless steel.
Right. You
But-
don't know when that happened, do you?
No, it would have been all that time. Shaw's would have had no steel. They were antiquated. They were 100 years, and they
They're
weren't.
behind the times, so.
And they weren't going to invest no money.
But they had
all.
electricity.
They had electricity, but they would have had one big, huge motor, and you might be driving 15 different machines, all pulleys and belts and all.
Right.
Which would be totally, you couldn't have that nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is flying around. So when Clover got modernised, all the machines were made in Germany. The gas, for gassing the pigs, they used to gas the pigs, and it was the same gas and eliminate CO2.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And they used to go around in a conveyor and come back and they'd be knocked out. So they could be hung up in the and stick the pig,
Yeah.
jabbed. But they used to call the fella that used to do that, Oitman, Paddy Woodland, Nonkers Woodland, Oitman, the other fella that was the gas chippers. That was his nickname,
Anchors.
Paddy Nonkers.
Nonkers.
Yeah, Nonkers Woodland
Okay.
was known as Oitman.
Okay.
Just for the German Jews. He was in charge of the gas chamber, the
Okay.
gas in the pigs. That was his job, Paddy. And he,
It's so bad. Oh my god.
but there was great old stories and funny old stories, young different fellas. That was on there, and they killing that. Then the beef crowd, they were a different crowd. Beef butchers were different than pork butchers. You
Was
know.
there a separate room?
Oh yeah, just the
So
huge
all the
building.
pigs were here.
The pigs were all down there, and the other ones were down to, they were up and to go up onto the second floor. Huge area.
Yeah.
It was a disaster. It should never have been left closed down,
Okay.
because they had been the leading place. Limerick's pork tradition was world famous.
Yeah.
And they brought over these Dutch cows and showed them what to do with.
And sure they took it off then.
They
Do
took
you
it
think that
off.
was the reason they closed down?
Well, you see, they put in bad management. It was taken over. That Collins, Michael Collins' nephew, he was the general manager
Okay.
of Clover Mills, he was from Cork. And they came, and he had the idea of buying up all meat plants all over Ireland. And
Okay.
he was going to have one like Guinness's. He had this picture in his head. He was going to be Guinness's, there was only going to be one. But then he started buying up London's and Cork, which was a ditty, and he should have just bought and closed it down and transferred whatever they were making
Over here.
up into water. Water was not a huge plan, because I used to have to go down to water with as well. You take a new machine, go down and see how that was working. And, you know, and they'd buy a second one. So when it came up, this machine was just arriving, then I'd have to put it all together and get it going.
Okay.
And then they had London's and Cork, to go over Donnelly's in Dublin. But all these companies had been losing huge amounts of money.
So it was a waste of time taking them over.
It was, and then
Waste of money.
there was another stupid thing that they went away, and there was a Renaissance. Jesus, he was supposed to be an engineer. Must have been a lucky way he got a degree. I'm telling you, he went away and he got his refrigerated trucks
Yeah.
built, these big refrigerated trucks. And I was going out the country. He bought refrigerated containers, and his thing was with somebody else. Like, they were going to load these containers, and these vans would pull up in the morning time. The trucks would go out at night time. These different depots, he called them,
Oh yeah.
and pick up this thing, load the vans, and move off. They never checked with CIE to figure out where the low bridges were.
Right.
So these big containers went out. I went out to some of the sites and powered up, got power put in, had plugs already, so they could plug in
Yeah.
this, and they drop them off and the truck would take off and pick up an empty one. They never checked. They thought they had them built. They thought I don't know what they cost, like.
Yeah.
They thought they had these.
Wasn't cheap anyway, we'd say.
No. Hundreds of thousands.
And did they get caught onto the bridges and everything?
They couldn't deliver them. Shouldn't have went out. The truck couldn't go under the bridge to bring them back in. And abandon them.
Yeah.
And these things are caught and thrown up in the back of the yard, chopped
Where are
up.
they now? They're all gone now.
All
are they?
gone and crushed up. And there were huge mistakes like that made.
Right, just waste of money, waste of furniture.
It was waste of money. And it was really a shame that an old... You see, the great thing with that, the whole of that Mulger Street at that time was huge in the city. You could have 500 people cycling, very little cars, you see.
That's amazing.
The
So-
shoe factory was in Mulger Street.
Right.
And there was a siren on the top of Clover Meats. We used to have to... The Clover siren used to wake everyone in Limerick at
7.
7:45 in the morning, calling to work. Do you know, it was like the hours being called to prayer. They were all this siren. And it was an old war siren.
Yeah.
It was up on the roof because they had
can
to go up and
imagine.
fix it. The noise. And that would go off and it would call everyone, the shoe factory, all over.
Work.
All over Cleves, and everyone used to hear this siren. We'd have to start hurrying on. It was 7:45, you had 15 minutes to get wherever you were.
My God.
And at 1 o'clock then it would go off again, at 5 to 1, for everyone inside in the factory and everywhere else. The break, coming to the break, and go off again at 2.
At 12:55
Yeah.
and again at 2.
And then at 5 to 2 again to 1:55 to go off again. George would
Call
be
everyone back to work.
to work. And then again to go off at 5:30, I think. And it used to call everyone. That was the shoe factory. Everyone in Mulger Street and Cleves over here. You'd hear it down here, like,
And when did the siren go? When was that gone? When it closed?
when it closed down.
Okay.
That was the end of that. They died of that. But that's hard in school. But the timekeeping, getting back to that, it was very strict.
And
You
what
got
happens
locked
if
out.
you were... you lost your day's pay, but would you get in trouble from management then?
No.
No.
was
That was
it.
it, you just lost your day.
You were out. And that applied to everybody. It didn't single them out.
Yeah.
We were often working late, and if I was working until... I often got called in. Some broke down maybe down 1 o'clock in the morning, but you were expected. But if I was late coming up the morning, I would just get the engineer to sign. I could just drive in, and because I couldn't go down and be clocking, and then they couldn't seem to be making examples for anyone.
Yeah, I get you, yeah.
So he would just sign my card that I was in it. You know that I worked late, and it was time I could be an hour late after working 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I had to have 8 hours off.
Right.
So there's a minimum.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, but that's how strict the timekeeping was.
Yeah.
They used to just, there was a clock, it wasn't electronic, it was electric clock, right, the clock thing.
Yeah.
But they just come down there, a simple door down over it, and it was locked, with a big lock in it.
That was it.
And that was it. You couldn't get it.
Yeah.
You were gone home. And I think it was 3 times in a week you got sacked.
Yeah, I can imagine. Missing work. And what happens if you were sick then, Tony?
Oh, the sick bed, that really killed club mates.
Did it?
It did. There was lots of them had big families.
Yeah.
And what happened was, you got half your wages. Well, on the doctor's certificate, you get half your wages. You get 50% of your wages. And you kept your social welfare check. Now some of their social welfare checks, because they had big families, would have meant they would have had more than social welfare than they would wages.
Right.
So then when they got half,
Ow.
then when they got half of their wages, you see, and the social welfare check, they had more money, should they?
They had it all figured out.
They had it all figured out.
Yeah.
Jesus, the things I could say, but you couldn't say out of what just.
Right,
Jesus,
yeah.
that. They didn't actually want, they didn't help their own case, but they thought it couldn't close. They would of a believe that, and I used to hear them saying it, now they were into Europe, we have 500 million people to feed, they're only threatened to close it, and they didn't believe it.
Yeah.
They actually did not believe that, and they went up and said the day after, and the door was closed. The union sold them loan paid.
Did it?
They should have talked them into better. You see, God love them, they weren't educated at all. They came over there and they were in there 13.
Yeah.
You know.
So you think there should have been better negotiations?
Oh, there should have been forecast down the line, board management, it was a total neglect, like. And this now, we hadn't even kind of got going in Europe yet.
Right.
But what it was, you see, they were going for 100 years. And whole families, it didn't matter to me because I was a single boy. But up there, like I saw, there was fellas up there, Michael Fitz, his father worked there, his mother worked there, his 2 sisters, and 2 brothers. There were 6 of them, out of one house.
So there was kind of this idea that you'll get a job there regardless
It
of
didn't
what way it's
matter.
going. Yeah.
You had to get, if one, like the electrician, how did I get in there? I got in there because my other uncle was on. But a lot of the old factories, that's the way they worked, you know. But they had whole families there. You know, they didn't have to go to school or go anything. Because when they just came and they were 15, they were in there and that was it. And their father had been there all their life. And the father before him was there all his life.
Okay.
And they never thought that this
What happened? Yeah.
I'd say some of them didn't. I'd say they went up 2 days afterwards.
Thinking that it'd be opening.
Open again. And
What was Limerick like, Tony, at the time? Was there any other issues with other factories or
there was. The big Forinka one had closed.
the big what?
Forinka factory outside in the late 70s. Forinka closed. And there was a huge Dr. Harim. I said there was 1,200 left going one go there. The shoe factories had closed.
Right.
The wire factory had closed. Limerick got an awful route in that thing.
And what time was this?
This was all about the late 70s. Clover would have been 78. Forinka would have been
But why did Limerick do so bad?
I don't know. Politically. I don't know what happened.
Right,
They got a
okay.
bad reputation then. Just, you know that.
Yeah.
Like the butchers actually went on strike one time because they couldn't get time off to go to soccer match.
Oh yeah, okay, like maybe taking it too far or whatever.
Limerick drew, they played Shamrock Rovers, was there, I don't know what thing they played. But they played a soccer match on Sunday, which was a draw, and the replay was on a Wednesday. And because they couldn't all go away at 3 o'clock in the day to watch them play a match, they went on strike.
Over completely stupid things, would say.
You couldn't run it. And then you see, when they had modernised, you see, the old play might have been right, but when they got modernised, things on a chain, like they're going around. And you miss the chains is as good as missing link, and then everything stopped. So what I want to do, well, they've been producing 1,500 pigs a day.
Yeah.
What do you do? Like, you can't miss a day's killing pigs, because now you have 3,000 there.
Yeah.
And you can't kill 3,000 the next day.
So it's just backlog for people.
It's just, nobody can. Then they're all perishable goods now. You can't leave pigs above Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And you can't stop doing it on Saturday and Sunday. So it's basically like management should be able to handle a lot of this thing better, you know.
Okay.
But the workers are only as good as how they're lately. Do
you think it was anything to do with competition from other places?
Not at all.
No.
Nobody could compete with these guys.
Yeah.
No, the pork
They were
butchers
just
in Limerick
amazing.
were the top of the range. If you got 2,000 pigs, they introduced a bonus system there.
Yeah.
And they used to say, some of them up there, used to say, I have more money than the leading surgeon outside in the regional. Because they were so skillful and they could make and they could do whatever they had to do, they could do twice as much once they got paid.
Part to making the Limerick ham.
It was, and it wasn't so much ham, just everything. They used to kill cattle, they used to kill sheep, they used to kill fucking reindeers.
You weren't far from Packin Tribe, were you?
Tracy's Packin Tribe, yeah.
That's only around the corner from you, was it?
That's down opposite St Mary's Church. Tracy's Packin Tribe.
They used to get the blood from the factories, I think.
They used to Matty with the wheelbarrows.
Yeah.
Matty split the spoons. He used to inside the pub and he got a few points, he started playing these spoons. And he could play the bones.
Yeah.
Two red bones, yeah.
No.
Little red bones, I remember that.
Right.
Spare red bones, and he'd get them and he'd polish them and clean them. And you hear them playing them. They were very talented.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
Multi-purpose.
It's like he had a lovely social...
And what they had was, most of them would not have 10 pence, or 2 shillings. Well, that would have been a lot. Even if none of them would have any money in their pocket on a Monday morning. And they were as happy as Larry on the Friday and then they got paid. And all they wanted was a few drinks.
At the weekend.
At the weekend.
Yeah.
And that was it. After went again on Sunday. To hear them singing and
And what did everyone do for lunch then?
Well, I went home one.
You went home?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They had a full hour, you see.
Yeah.
And they all worked within, well 90% of club mates all worked. Over there now, the furthest away.
Across
From
the
Club
near
Meads.
Kurgar, is it?
Yeah, and they'd be straight up the road, you see. All around here. But then you had Cleves, you had a couple of hundred people. And this place here was a biscuit factory. Guiry's biscuit factory. With 200 or 300 working here. It was a huge industry.
There was so much going on in Limerick, wasn't there?
There was Irish wire, ranks. Ranks all closed all around the same time.
The Tate
Tens
clothing
of thousands.
factory.
But I was lucky enough because I had the trade and I was working, when that closed, I was working 2 weeks afterwards.
Yeah, because everyone needs
I was after a
electrician.
contractor and then I went away and then I went open my own afterwards. So
You were fine. Was there many accidents in the factory?
there was one fella down there, he lived, I played football afterwards, Joe Bay, he worked in Club Meads. He lost 4 fingers.
Oh God.
He lived down opposite St Mary's Church, Peter Bay.
How did he manage that?
It was actually filled now, there was it's hard to explain, there was a machine and it was like a piston would move up like that. They put in all the sausage meat in.
Like
This
the
thing brought
digester?
down, they put down this round cylinder,
Yeah.
like a barrel, like a barrel. And that note. And to drop all the way down, you just pull the lever and it went all the way down. So you put the meat into the top of this You filled it up with the pork meat to make sausages.
Yeah.
And then you pulled across this cover.
Mhm.
And you pull the lever, and this piston would move up.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't, and everything, all the meat in the yards taken out of it. But his job, what he done was, he opened it up, and he knew it was finished. He had to make an these sausages.
Yeah.
He opened it up, and he needed to wash it out. And he put in the water into it, you know.
Mm.
He put in the water into it. And he was washing out the machine. And Joe gone over the funnel was, he shoved his hand out with the, gone out with his pipe got out and all the water. But he never saw the thing coming up. It just came up under it.
Oh my God. And you couldn't switch that off while he was cleaning it?
It should have been off, but he was holding one thing, leave it and trying to do it quickly.
Oh, you just quick job and move on, yeah. You won't do it again? Oh,
Oh no. I would just say there was lots of, there was no safety. There was no safety opposite. There was nothing. The sea was for this. And some of them, it wasn't the management's fault. There was some there, and they used to get these wire gloves. You couldn't cut yourself. They were all woven in wire.
yeah.
And you were using a knife, and you were cutting something like this, you'd be having to lift. They'd be supplied with those. They would never wear them.
Okay.
You see, fellas getting nasty cuts all right, you know,
Yeah.
with knives. The knives would be like
Yeah.
razor
I
blades.
saw one of them, alright, yeah, and he
But
showed
this-
me how to sharpen it.
Oh, to shape me up and down, but you want to see when they're doing it, like
Oh yeah, he
talking
did.
away.
He was
You could be talking away and that. They were a very skillful crowd, and it was an awful pity. And it was not pity for all the generations to come after them.
and everything in Limerick was nearly gone.
I don't know what else I could say about that place now.
Or
Like.
just seeds and anything else, yeah. Tony, that's great though, you gave loads of bits. Last year about clothing and your hours, what were the wages like, can you remember? If you don't remember that.
Oh no, I remember. There was a big, huge maintenance strike came on. Jimmy Dunn was there. It was all over Ireland, maintenance, we went out on the strike. I think when I started work in that time for electrician in 1965, I had £14, about £14, 10 shillings. And we had £4 a week more than
Yeah,
everyone else.
that sounds
Electricians.
a big wage.
We had 14 pounds. But I stayed on about 20. Because I was working overtime.
Oh
I
yeah.
was always working overtime.
Yeah.
Because things would break down, you couldn't do, you'd have to get something going temporary. Because
You have to
couldn't
fix
hold.
it because the whole factory otherwise is.
We used to tell management up that we were necessary evils. We wouldn't hear because you needed us at that. We wouldn't hear because we needed the job at that. It was you needed us to be. Because if something broke like and it wasn't fixed, the whole place would just stop.
Yeah.
Stop. It'd be pandemonium to get it going, no matter how did we got going. You'd have to get it going, tie it up, get it going.
Were you always on call then, Tony?
Always.
Always, okay.
And then my father got us we had a phone, there wasn't that many phones around in the 60s. My father had a phone over the house. And somebody called in there, someone late at night in there. But he must have got up to answer the phone. Because I'd been out in the rent tent and drinking pints and sound asleep, unconscious in bed. And he wanted the whole stuff was done. It was Clovermeat, yeah. Did Clovermeat pay for this phone? They didn't. Well,
Did Clovermeat what?
Did Clovermeat pay for to put in this phone?
Yeah.
Did they pay the rent? No. No, shag off.
Yeah.
He'll be up when he's up. And he just didn't want to be bothered, and he couldn't see why he should have to get out of bed.
Yeah, to get them to the phone during the night.
So, but when I was on call, then that brought that to another height. Then they had to pay me for the phone. And there was no mobiles, of course, but
No.
he had, I was on call 24 hours, 7 days a week, and I worked up there. There was sometimes everything was breakdown. There was one particular day, I was 2 days up the road, I was coming home, or going to sleep. I changed the big transformer, blew up, and we just started working all day, all night,
My God,
for 2 days.
it's a tough job,
To
isn't
get
it?
it, but you see, you had to.
That was
there
it,
was no-
just the way it was.
But nobody took any notice of it, you know. There was no one saying you can't do this, no, you can't. You have to go home and
You just get on with it.
yeah, and you wouldn't have to be asked to work overtime. If something broke, you just have to stay with it. And there was no one who would catch
Who
you.
was checking all the hours then? There was overtime if you didn't check out before 5. you were automatically given overtime, was it?
Yeah, if you wouldn't down at 5 o'clock to clock out, the clock was still there. But if you went down at 12 o'clock and you clocked out,
Yeah.
or you didn't clock out, you would just tell your engineer,
Yeah.
Ramsey, he would just sign the card, plus 20 hours or plus whatever, you know,
Whatever it was.
and
yeah.
it would just go up and be paid.
It's mad.
No.
And did you have a supervisor?
No.
Someone that would check your work? No.
No, he was the engineer,
Yeah.
and he was gone most of the time.
Okay.
He was more, but he used to come up on Monday morning, 11 o'clock, and he'd be gone Thursday evening.
For the weekend.
But-
What was the factory like, Tony? What was it? Was it like
Parts of it,
old-fashioned or?
oh no, there was parts of it was all modernised, tile all the way to the ceiling. Then there were parts of it was like something Oliver Twist. Honest to Christ, there was dark rooms inside there. There was no window. And fellas went in there at 8 o'clock in the morning. I would not know what was doing outside weather-wise.
Yeah.
They were just inside
In the
in a
room,
black
that's it.
room, cold, wet, damp, with the refrigeration pipes. The newer part of the factory got all these things like grills in the walls, blowing the cold air in. But before that was cold brine. It was mixed up pickle and put in
Yeah.
pipes, and there were all pipes up and down the ceilings, and they were down very low because you couldn't have the cold air will drop.
Yeah.
Cold air drops. Heat
Hot air
rises.
rises, yeah.
But the cold, they had to keep the places very low.
Yeah.
And we'd be inside now. If you were 6'6", we couldn't go in there.
So what room was that?
They would have been where they was been storing the bacon.
On the chill rooms.
All this were inside low now, and they have to go in. That's what they would store all the bacon to put the pickle in brine,
Yeah.
curing the bacon, and there'd be thousands and thousands, big huge room, bigger than this thing, and for 4 times the length of this now. And there was fellas who go in there and they have to be storing, stacking this pickle down, and they have to press it down and wedge it down, and they have to lift it back up. And they wouldn't know what day until come out in at dinner time. You see like that, but then there was that pitch black inside, like.
Yeah.
Well, it is very poor lighting.
Very poor lighting, okay.
Because we were trying to keep the heat down and everything, keep it as cold. And that was one part. Then there were other parts of it. Was real modern. It was all tiled, floor to ceiling, everything.
And was there many bathrooms in there, toilets?
Hygiene was very bad.
Is it? Yeah.
Would have been for hundreds of people, like.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been. We had a Roman down in our own workshop down with the back, but up around the floor there was 1, 2, maybe 4 or 5 tiles.
And how many people worked there? My God.
Hand towels. I remember at one stage, it was nearly closing at that stage when they put these automatic. It was a veterinary thing in Husky, when you put your hands on the sink.
The vets seem to have a very big influence, don't they?
Oh, they had. They decided what was what.
But when
Yeah.
did they come into, like,
Yeah.
when did they start making such a big impact on the factories?
I'd say it was more or less a European thing.
A European.
I think it was a European director. I'd say they were always there, but
But
there
they
must
seem
have
to
been
become very
20.
influential.
there must have been about 20 vets there.
Okay.
And they could just come up and stick a sticker on anything, and it was cold, and that was it.
Yeah. And do you remember anything nice about tea breaks or?
No, we had our own little place down there.
Yeah.
But everybody just made their own cup of tea. There was a vodka boiler over, and that was it.
And that was it. That was
You
it.
just went over and you brought your own sandwich. There wasn't a canteen as such. They might have had one, but it was no different than a shade.
Yeah. God, imagine.
Primitive. Like.
Big difference from now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but just I couldn't understand was afterwards when I went working in different places and seeing different places. Because after I went out to Ennis, that's why I wound up in Ennis. I was on a contract. Then the crowd stayed. I stayed with them. Then I went off to America with them when I came back. And to see the difference. But to see what these fellas had done, and then wound up with nothing, you know. Just drunk. Some of us never worked a day again. It was very sad, you know. I've often met some of them now.
And some of them didn't have good pensions.
They had no pensions. None whatsoever. And what ones they had, somebody must have offered them a few pounds, they took it, you know.
Yeah.
I was too young, it didn't matter to me.
You went elsewhere, you went to America,
Yeah.
so you were fine. So that was kind of it. I'd
What
say.
else is that could I?
That's kind of it. Do you remember anything about social life? The social side of things?
Oh no, there was none of that. There was one social dance every
Yeah.
year, that was all.
That was it.
And I had a picture and I can't find it, I went through it.
Well,
Because
if you come
Frankie
across
Dunn was in
them-
it. Frankie Duggan is in it.
Who's that?
He was a butcher. His brother Larry worked in
Larry.
O'Mara's.
With Larry, yeah.
But Frankie Duggan worked in Governments.
Okay.
Lovely fella now. He's still they're living down there in Field. There was a big lot of them lived down there in Field, you know.
It's okay.
Which was St Mary's Park. There's a huge number. There must have been 50 people.
They all come up along. Okay.
Jim Wells. There was any of the Fitzes in. Mikey Fitz. Mikey's dead. I see his daughter was asking her, should he?
Do. I'll give you my number if you know of anyone.
There's another good friend of mine, Peggy Heaney. I don't know where he is. He was a fitter too. Jesus, there was what? There was 38. There was 2 carpenters to mention.
There was what?
It was 2 carpenters and maintenance. A blacksmith.
A Cooper.
A cooper. Making the bottles. It was plaster. Jackie Flynn.
Hilarious, like.
And he was the secretary of the Plasterers Union. Jesus, he was small little man. Lovely fella, like. There was 2 fellas coming on painting. They weren't painters by trade. They were doing very good at it, you know.
Yeah, just generally.
They would just keep painting, keep the place clean. And the place used to be spotless because it was all steam.
Yeah.
Hosed it down water. There was water everywhere.
Everywhere.
And trying to keep electrics going.
And where did they get the water from Clover Meads?
Oh, straight in.
Was it through well or through the river?
No, off the water mains.
Water Meads, okay.
And then to be all pressurised with steam.
Yeah.
There's to kill like 700 and 800 cattle a day and 1,500 pigs.
I don't know, and now it's all gone.
All gone. They're 38 truck drivers. Just to go out and pick up the pigs as well. They go to the farms and pick up pigs. Bernie Redmond was one of them. They used to go around all the farms and pick up pigs. They used to have a great St Patrick's Day
Yeah.
floats. They used to.
I saw a few photos. They're amazing.
They were for the time.
Yeah.
Because there were no. But they used to always win this, get this first prize.
And they drove them through the parade, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was big lorries and they did this carpenter. Eamon O'Loughlin was the carpenter.
Yeah.
He'd be building this thing for 6 months before.
Really?
He'd be out the back cutting timber and fellas be up painting. That doesn't look right. Change it. Do you know?
That's mad though. All for one day it's all about pride, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
they used to take huge pride in it.
Yeah.
But they'd be outside playing at this thing. We used to call it playing, do you know? No, you go
Arts
one
and
day to be all
crafts.
green. No. We'd change the green and put the orange up on the top and the white here. No. Nice. That's all. And they'd be getting overtime and all for the
Yeah,
practice.
yeah. Want for the company.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about the food exhibitions, do you?
No.
No, that's fine.
They wouldn't do any of them, wouldn't they?
Someone else was on about it.
Mikey Fitz, Mikey tells the story. The fella came up from Waterford. He was one of these quality fellas, you know. He was going to change the whole process of making brawn.
Yeah.
Mikey Fitz was about one then. He was making brawn. Mikey was making brawn. Just make the brawn inside these big, huge vats, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe 400 gallons of water and meat and all boiling up and the cooking away.
Yeah.
And Tommy Burchell was a quality supervisor. It was a kind of a new job now. He came from Waterford. And he went up and he took out this scoop. And he was testing the prawns when he was tasting it. He said to Mikey was dog roughed up. Michael, he said, I think there's a bit of a bone in that. Is that, he said. You should be up there yesterday. He said, there was a bit of a boat I took over it. That was it.
Yeah.
That was your radio man. Your man was going to come and tell him that he was telling me, I'm doing such a good job. Said, I found it a bit of a boat. He was lucky, he said, when yesterday, because I pulled the boot out of something. Someone threw the boot into it.
I have to put that in. That's very good, Tony. Yeah. That's really good.
There were some great stories about fellas like that.
Yeah.
Michael Fitz.
Just good laughs.
There were. And
Can you think of any more?
He's, that was it. Tommy Burchell was the fella, and Michael Fitz. But there was, Michael, I think, has a bit of bone in it. I was lucky, he said. When we came yesterday, he said, I pulled the boot out of it. Someone would have thrown something at Mikey. Do not play at it. They'd thrown something at him. And he wouldn't bother taking out the broad thing. Have a coke away with
Leave
it.
it. Oh God. Wow. Okay.
You know?
That's
Um,
mad.
just,
Tony, thank you. That's really good. Thanks a million.
look, if I think of anything else, I
Definitely.
might write it down. And if you leave me a number,
I leave you my number. Tony, thank you.
I'll
Turn
email
this
something
off.
at you. I don't want to be taking all your day up.
No, you're not at all.